Hey, good afternoon. Michael Wynn here, Chief Digital Officer of Digital Ops, a division of RB Oppenheim Associates. And today, guys, we're going to talk about something I'm absolutely fascinated by this. I've been just really kind of marinating on it and looking up some articles and reading about it and thinking about it. And I think everyone is going to just really chime in right away. And the fact is, there is an amazing cloud of complaining that happens in the world today. It's like a toxic virus that kills businesses and productivity at every level and at every turn. And yeah, it's amazing. If you do a little searching, you'll find that there's quite a bit of medical studies that have happened. And so today, I'm going to talk about that because I think that not only do we see it in the real world when we're standing in line and we're complaining about service or, this or that, we see it in social media as well, when people go off on a rant or something like that. So anyway, here are some things that came out. So maybe today I'm MD Win. According to Dr. Robin Kowalski, there are three types of complainers. There is the ventor. This person is the grumbler, the whiner, the dissatisfied person that's really not interested in hearing any solutions that might be offered to provide them help. Number two is the sympathy seeker. This person is always the victim. They're always the only one that's suffering, that has the sob story over and over, just sucking you in. And then number three is the chronic complainer, is really just in a constant state of complaining about the same thing over and over and over. So those are the three types of complainers as outlined by the good Dr. Kowalski. Now, what's interesting, and this is the part that I was reading about today, is that, complaining is actually it's like a neuron virus, right? It's like, these repeated neuron connections, or these synapses that fire, and it's like, they have these points, and each time they fire, they like get closer and closer and closer. And what happens is, over this, repetition of that happening, it's easier for the brain. It's literally rewiring itself so that it's easier to trigger that thought pattern, which is crazy. So when you think about when someone is complaining, you not only have the complainer, but you have the person that's listening to that. Both of them are exposed, or they both experience, this negativity. And so, if you wonder how that works, well, I mean, it's literally, as humans, our brains are wired in such a way that we want to relate to others. And so when someone is complaining, our brain literally tries it out, just to see, like, okay, let me see if I can understand what they're saying. And so that same synapses fires in our brain to try to relate. So literally, that's the virus. That's how it spreads, is because when we're exposed to that, our brains are trying it out. So, think about that. So it's not just one-to-one, if you're sitting in a restaurant or a bar or a meeting or wherever you are, face to face, but you're also, as we read social media comments, and we're trying to understand what the words are, that same thing can happen as well, which is crazy to think about. And so, I think that I think we all need to kind of be aware of what's happening, from a health standpoint when this occurs, because again, the research and, sort of the point behind, the data is that, when these synapses are triggering, this and rewiring your brain, it's actually causing anger and anxiety to build up in the person, okay, which obviously causes stress. And so when that happens, it releases the hormone cortisol. Oh my gosh, now the poison is literally releasing in our body, causing our immune system to weaken, raising our blood pressure, making us more susceptible to heart disease, obesity. I mean, it literally, complaining is literally killing us. So, maybe for 2019, it's a matter of us saying, you know what, I'm gonna stop complaining, or I'm gonna stop hanging out with the complainers. Because the studies tell us that, man, it really impacts us. It rewires our brains. It impacts our health, and it's huge. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why I was really drawn to this topic today, but I do think it's extremely interesting that, as a marketer and as a digital marketer, when I look at, sentiment and how people are responding to, whether it's a marketing campaign, or it's an initiative, or if it's, politics, or, whatever it is, you all have a right to say what we feel. But there's something different when it rises above the level of, just matter of fact or recognizing injustice. We're talking about these three conditions, of being, just completely dissatisfied and not interested in hearing solutions, or being the sympathy seeker, to think that you're or that person is the only one, that is suffering, or, just constantly in a state of complaining about the same thing over and over and over again. And recognizing that, because, when you're trying to run a business, a successful business, in today's age, you can't have that in your environment. You can't have that in the culture of your business or organization, because it will literally kill productivity and just wipe everyone out. So yeah, again, I don't know why I got off on this subject today, but I hope you guys found it as interesting as I did. If you want to Google Dr. Robin Kowalski, it's very interesting information that she put out. Or if you want to, you can also Google the synapses and the rewiring of your brain when complaining, the effects of complaining. Yeah, just Google that. But yeah, so think about that too. I mean, if you're a business owner, or a manager, and you're on social media and you find yourself complaining, and you're just typing it up and going into your little rant over and over, like, people are reading that. And we get freedom of speech, but you got to understand that, are you part of the problem, or are you a part of the solution? Right? So yeah, that's what we're talking about today. You know what? Tomorrow I'm going to talk about a social media triage, what to do when someone leaves a negative comment on your page, how to handle that. We come up with that a lot in our industry as digital marketers and communicators. So we're going to talk about social media triage tomorrow. Thank you guys so much. My name is Michael Wynn. I'm the Chief Digital Officer at Digital Opps, a division of RB Oppenheim Associates. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you tomorrow.